Now it cuts over to an airport and a couple people standing outside the front. One of them says this looks dangerous, talking about this red gate that just spawned there. They're worried because if they don't take out the boss, the dungeon is definitely gonna break. Then they turn around and we see that they're under mind control, and the apostle is just using them for his own convenience, and have them report to the association that there is no gate, so that more of the outer being's forces can come through to this world. And that's exactly what starts to happen. And once again, he says creation are beings made to execute the wishes of their creator. If our creator is bored, we'll fight amongst ourselves. If our creator wants something, we'll resort to all means to offer it to him. It's the whole reason we exist. But one day the creator God said this, that one of his kind was dead in another dimension. So take this and bring me the rights to the world that lost its master. But we followed the words of our God and gathered numerous believers in our world. And then we departed for the world that lost its master. An energy beyond our imagination was required to transport countless soldiers. But the dimensional passageway was too narrow to hold such a large amount of energy, so the army of God took a long time to actually make it through this dimensional passageway. But they didn't give up and eventually arrived at the world that lost its master, and that's when we see them all pulling up to fight Jinwoo. He says when we got there, we saw darkness. Pitch black darkness of unfathomable depth. As Jinwoo says, arise, makes a shadow so big it just engulfs the entire gate they were coming out of, before cutting to this starry night sky and showing the just endless amount of soldiers going to war with Jinwoo's shadow army. It's just rows of dragons roaring at them. The darkness and its army all possess tremendous strength. I'm just realizing he's calling Jinwoo the darkness itself. And this darkness was fearsome in many ways. The apostle was like telling his war stories about how his fellow soldiers got turned into enemies. And as the war went on, more soldiers died, and the power of darkness simply grew beyond our imagination. And the army of our creator God was driven back by their movement. So the war that started on Earth went beyond the confines of the dimension, and the army of our God fell into despair as it was unable to get past the darkness for a long time. But the envoy of God, TL, then said something about how this was an opportunity. But since they can't just travel to Earth with their tremendous power, they use the Mistborns to introduce magical energy to the Earth. Now they're the lowest ranking believers of their creator God, who were destroyed and burned by the fire of faith, but still carry out the will of God. Even though they're weak, they're still fatal to people that don't have power. Now the army thought that when faith is propagated in the world that lost its master, and the number of believers increases, they'll be able to manifest sanctuaries and miracles. So all of them agreed with TL unanimously. And he used his ability to split his strength and power into 5 fragments, having the weakest fragment carry the flame of the Mistborn into the earth. And just as planned, Jinwoo wasn't able to detect it, and this is when they officially infiltrated the earth. However, the first fragment TL was met with unexpected variables. When he arrived, he seemed to awaken people as hunters, but there's not supposed to be any magic in this world. That's when he figured that this probably has something to do with what they're calling the Great Cataclysm that we still don't know anything about. The first fragment decided to wait for the others and was able to successfully fuse with the second fragment. To think they were able to experience such a good change during their war with us, someone had to have planned this. He's just talking to himself like, their setbacks must never happen to our plan. Humans, among them, it's important to understand the peak potential of hunters so that I can fulfill my calling as a fragment of TL. But as he's saying this, a big explosion happens in the airport. The dungeon does break, so a bunch of monsters are pulling up, and these poor innocent civilians are just in the way. But he's just watching this happen because the more monsters run rampant, the more high-ranking hunters will show up. And he wants to see how powerful an S rank is. By just looking at the hunters at the gate already, he can tell that they're using Stardust to make themselves stronger. And it's still created from the melting faith of the Mistborns. If we use TL's Amplify ability to amplify their faith, and boom, just like that, he brainwashes the hunters. He says, y'all are getting in the way, go back. And they just say, yes, apostle. And a goblin just stabs this lady in the back. Man, I really don't like goblins. And she's calling for help, but I'm sorry you had to go out like that. He says, creations exist for the sake of the creator God. So I thought the reason for life was only to fulfill the wishes of God. But if that's the case, then why do humans have desires and wants for things that only the creator should have? Do these utterly weak humans think that they're superior to us? As he's talking, we see that somebody's pulling up. This guy is just about to get crushed by the big red mallet man. Suho flies in and kicks him in his shit and tells the guy to get his ass out of here. This takes TL's fragment off guard, as he's just no different than monsters. And then as he takes a closer look, it reminds him of the description that Lee Min-sung gave him of the hunter who destroyed the Hyena Guild. Could this be the guy he was talking about? But we're gonna have to wait till next week. I did not know this shit came out weekly. And don't get mad at me, this video is short. There's just no more till next week. I've about the same time that I post this video, I'm probably gonna put up a poll on my YouTube joint, on my main page, with just a bunch of animes to see which ones you guys are gravitating towards. I'm gonna do them all, and I'm just, which one should I get out the way first? Start knocking out the fastest. Even these 4 doesn't include Bleach and Dan, and there's just so many things I have to cover. So yeah, put it in the comments what you want to see. Now, should I just like drag this video out to be 8 minutes? Y'all want to walk around with me, yo? Actually, hold up. I still got to upload the JJK stuff over here and the Demon Slayer. And I still got to take all this solo leveling and put it into like one long-ass video. That's what a lot of y'all keep asking me to do in the comments. Shit probably going to take a year and a half to upload. Hey, if it's for you guys, I'll make it do what it do. Y'all have actually been the best. I got 20,000 subscribers, bro. Thank you. Like, all of y'all. Like, that shit is crazy.